Okay, this is a review demonstration. So we're using 2019. So I'm using the latest version. I will also show how to check and that you can update your version if required. You won't need your version for this demonstration. This is just a demonstration. I don't expect you all to follow along. We're focusing on manufacturing today. So we're showing a bit of the link in with Inventor, AutoCAD, showing how we can use 3D PDFs and the like. We'll also show some simple markups, and we'll also touch on creating dashboards and also starting like studio projects. So, and that is really the document management side of Bluebeam. So a rough agenda, we're just going to do some exporting from Inventor and CAD. Creating 3D PDFs, so how to create, navigating, and how to get some of the information out of those 3D PDFs. Some simple markup tools. We're not really concentrating on markup tools in this, but I will show how to add markup tools and how to track those. Dashboards. So how to set up a dashboard. I'll only touch on that. I do use PowerPoint to set them up, and then I save out as an image file and use that in Bluebeam. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. Some people use paint programs, etc. Projects, we'll touch on projects as well, and drawing management. And then we will have time for some questions at the end. We do have a few attendees, so if you do have questions as we go, just feel free to put them in the chat. And then at the end of the last 5 minutes or so, I'll go through the chat and cover off as many of the questions as I can. So about Cloud A2K, we're a company which delivers software and hardware solutions. We do consulting, training, development, and also managed services. So we can come into your company and show you how to use Bluebeam to its full potential. A lot of companies don't use Bluebeam to its full potential. A lot of them either use the combining aspects and just simple markup aspects. But there's a lot more to it, and we're really about trying to get everyone to utilize the software to its full potential. We have a lot of industry experienced staff. So we've got specialists in architecture, engineering, construction, infrastructure, and manufacturing. So I touch across a few of those, and we help your organizations to use all the relevant softwares to its full potential. About me, I've got a structural engineering associate diploma. I've been in the industry for over 25 years. So I've worked at a lot of tier 1, mid-tier and smaller consultancies. So I've had experience at Arup, Northrop, SMEC, Worley Parsons, Oricon, etc. Everything from drawing bridges to 40-story towers and sort of portal frame factories, as well as doing shop detailing and drafting up components. I'm certified Bluebeam trainer, Autodesk Revit professional, and I do industry talks as well. I've been using Bluebeam since 2014, and there's always more to know with Bluebeam. I've got my email address there as well, and I'm also on LinkedIn if anyone wants to contact me through there. So Bluebeam was founded in 2002. It's got 1.6 million users around the globe, and it's really growing with the construction industry and manufacturing and the like. So most of the big players in construction and manufacturing are utilizing Bluebeam, and it's becoming the real PDF document of choice, and everyone's finding how it's very easy to collaborate. You can easily send stuff out and import stuff and organize all your documentation through Bluebeam. That's just the rough interface. So we have the panel access, just to know as I'm touching on things in the demonstration, you know what I'm talking about. So we've got the panel access, usually that's set up on the left. Your menu bar at the top, which is quite standard. Properties, the open panel. So when you access something through the panel will open, and that's where you can utilize the properties through there. Markups list down the bottom. You've got a navigation bar and a toolbar on the right. You can customize the toolbar as you see fit with commands that you use more often. With a PDF, it does contain all the metadata. So there's a lot of things you can put in a PDF. It is not just a documentation software. You can host hyperlinks, bookmarks, file attachments, images, spaces, and 3D data as well. So what a lot of people do is they actually put in the file attachment. So if there is a toolbox you're using a lot, you can attach that file and that tool set into the actual PDF itself for use. So now we'll go into the demonstration. So for that, what I'm going to do first of all is just start up Inventor. So I have Inventor here. I have set it up with a basic project through here. So we've got a couple of kettles. You can see a couple of burners underneath as well. And there's a little motor here as well. So it's got a few like little components. Some of them are parts of the item and the assembly. So you can see all the items through there. So the best way to get a 3D PDF out of this is actually to export that into a CAD format. So if we go to File here, and we're just exporting. So I'm not going to spend too much time going through all this because I do want to get into Bluebeam and not just Inventor. So if I export that, and I'll just save that to my desktop. And I'll make that just the brewing main DWG. And that comes across reasonably quickly as a DWG file. I'll now open up my AutoCAD and open up that drawing, which is on my desktop. So it's this drawing here, and I'll open that. So we're getting our 3D objects in through there. We've got the kettle. You can see the burners underneath all quite clearly, the nozzle, etc. That's all through there. Now with AutoCAD, it does have a direct Bluebeam add-in. So if I go to my, I'm on the output one at the moment, but under the output tab, you go and we do have this Bluebeam add-in here. So what I can do from here is to create a 3D PDF. If I use that drop down, I can create a new 3D. I can change the settings as well. So through these settings, I can decide if I want to add some views to it. I will just add the front view. I can change it to a certain page size. So if I did want it to fit on an A1 or A3, etc. I'm not going to worry too much about that. I am just going to let it almost size itself to fit. Because one of the things with Bluebeam is you can adjust the size once you're in there and have those units. I can also set a background and I can give it a lighting scheme. So just to make it a bit clearer, I'm just going to use a white lighting scheme there. You can change all this in the final PDF, but it does give you a good base to sort of set it out on. I'll have it as a solid rendering mode. So you do have in there your transparency, your wireframes, outlines, shaded, etc. So again, I will just use solid to set it up. These stay as reasonably default. And again, you can change it in the PDF itself. So it's not something you really need to worry about too much. And okay. And now I do need to create my 3D PDF. So I can save this again. I'll just save this to my desktop and I'll call that brewing main PDF and save. This will open it automatically in Bluebeam. Yep, so it's opening up my Bluebeam now. And it will open the file up. So there I can see I've got my 3D model in here. I do have this dialog box, and just to, as I pointed out before, I will show how to change and update your version. So you can find under the review tab, If you go to your About, that will give you your current build version. And then I can check for updates as well. If you go under the help, you can check for updates here. And that will make sure that you're on the latest build. Sometimes when we get questions in support, it generally comes out that people haven't got the latest update, and those updates do have bug fixes in them and the like. So once I'm in the 3D, I'll see that I'll get this little pop-up dialog here. So through there, I can spin. So I can rotate the project and look at it from different directions, look under, etc. And just use that to sort of orbit around the project. What I can do as well is I can set in a section plane. So I'll just go through. It does have the orthographic and perspective. So if I change that to, so that one's showing me the real orthographic. So it is always better to view it in the one that sort of looks a bit better. So that's like the perspective, and I can change that if I need to. You have here, this shows you your visibility. So again, like your transparent, your wireframes, etc. You can change that to illustration and change that through here to a wireframe as well, if you wanted to pick particular points that were obstructed. And you also have your hidden wireframe and a lot of the different ones. So I find it's quite useful, just the solid one. You can change the lighting as well. So sometimes if you get it and you have no lighting on it, you'll find that it's quite hard and you can't really pick up what's what. So you do want to have a lighting on it. The artwork one can be all right, but I like to use the white one, which sort of gives a good clarity and good depth to it. So this one changes your background color. So unless you really want to muck around with that, you could make it like the blue, but yeah, white's good enough. This one here creates either your section plane or section box. So if you use the drop down beside it, you get a cross section or a box. So this one will give the plane as such. So you can see how the plane's set there, and it has cut the project in a sort of horizontal direction. If I pick that outside box, I'll see that I get the gizmo come up. And by using that, I can change the sort of vertical depth of that section. And I can still pan around and get to a particular sort of top view if I wanted to, or pan that back around. You can change this as well if you do select it and go to your properties tab. And I can change the alignment of that. So I've got it in that Z sort of vertical plane. If I changed it to like the X plane, that would give me the line sort of more through the project there. And again, by selecting that, I can drag that to different parts through the object. And again, by rotating, I can get all those elements through there. So that works as well. Again, you do have to select your cut plane and then you can amend it. So under the properties, everything's got a property. So you can change it through there. The Y plane will give me the one going through the project. You can change the direction it's viewing to. So that is where it says on you can flip it. So you can have those flipped as well. So that flips the plane. So you can get it any way through. You can tilt it as well, or even give it an offset from a particular point. Another one to use is the section box. So if I activate the section box here, so this gives me an actual box. Now with that box, I can change the depth. So it sort of does give you those planes of change. So you'll see once you select the box, you do get those little drawouts. And by using them, you can change the area of that box to get just what you want through there. Someone's saying it is a little bit jumpy. It should be all right. It's all right on my end, so hopefully it's not affecting too much. You can sort of, once you select something, that will sort of hold it a bit better. So you do have your orbit there. You can change so we've got rotate there, which will hold your position square. So you can see where it does put up that little blue sort of crosshair, and it's sort of working on that. And I can zoom or select an item as well. So you get that through the select, and you can select the object. I'll just turn off those section boxes at the moment. And that's brought it all back there together. What I can do is I can isolate objects as well. So if I get to one of these burners underneath, I can select that burner, right click on it, and then I can isolate that part. So if I isolate that, I'll just isolate it. I will get that part, just that part. So that can be useful if you really want to check out sort of what that component is, etc. And you can see that it's a steel component. We are getting some metadata out of it when we go to the property. So you do get some of that metadata out. Under here, if you select the markups point, so I've got that as a markups list at the moment, you can get out the 3D model tree. So if you select on that 3D model tree, you'll see here it has all the items. So I will right click again and just show all parts. And you can go back to a default view by just hitting that button there. So that does take you back to sort of almost your sort of home view. So if you ever get lost on a project, so that can happen when you're zooming around and you lose where the project is. It is just a matter of hitting that default view, and that'll bring you back to sort of the home view of it. So through the model tree, you can go through here and select the different objects. So that takes me to the base plate. So I've got all the base plates there, and then you go through to the members themselves. You can change all this material, so that's what comes out of the material itself. So you do need to change that in the native program, but you do get the material that it's set, and you can add new custom columns and all that as you chose to. So you can see it's picking up each of those objects through there. And because you've selected it through there, you can also, again, right click or select that object. And then right click on it and again, isolate that part. So you're getting just that item. We can do this with more minor stuff as well. So I've done that there for the main assembly. If I go to my thumbnails, you will see that I have just that 3D PDF. That is our sheet. So that's the only sheet we've got in this one. You can do the same thing. So just going back to Inventor, I do have a little pump here as well. So again, going through that same sort of procedure, I can go to File and I can export it to DWG. I will save that to my desktop again. And then going back to AutoCAD. Back to desktop to my new pump one here. Open that, create 3D PDF. This time I didn't worry about the settings. It will retain the settings from the last one I used. So again, put that one on there as the desktop and save, which will then open that file. I do already have Bluebeam open, so it won't have to wait for that to come in, and you can see that I've got that component. So that's now the pump component. And again, all the same things work. I won't go through all this again, but you can do a cross section through that. And get the section through the pump. And to take that off, it is just a matter of hiding the cross section. So it's a simple way to get those 3D PDFs in there. Through the properties, again, you are getting some of the information out, how it's been constructed, but there is not a lot of metadata in this file. The more metadata you put in, the more it comes through, and then you can use the power of Excel and the power of Bluebeam to sort of tabulate all that information that's coming through the item. So in here, we can actually add markups to a 3D PDF. So what I could do is I can go and add a cloud plus callout. So this is the cloud plus here. So if I just select that point across there, and again, I'm going to have that as a red cloud. I can change the thickness as I chose, and I can hatch it if I wanted to. I'm going to make the line a blue one instead. So you'll see how that's changed the line to blue. And I could change my font as well if I chose to. So for this, I'm just going to just type in some rough information. And just say, so now that I've done that, that information is there and it is in the 3D PDF. So if I actually zoomed around now or panned, you'd see that that stays with it. So I've now changed the orientation of the view. And what it's done is you can see how I've got a bubble there. So what it's done is it's actually saved these views of the call out. So if I move this around now and do another call out for this kettle. So with this one, I'm not going to do a call out. I'm just going to do a simple cloud and put that cloud across that kettle there. And now that I've placed it, again, I can go back and I can zoom. So if I now zoom, I'll see that. And what it's done is it's actually left these two bubbles here. And what those bubbles are telling me is that I've got comments there. So if I click on one of those, it will take me to that view of that markup. If I click on this one here, it will take me to that view of that markup. So we can see how it's retaining that information in the 3D view. So those, if I did want to take these bubbles off, it is a matter of changing that through the filters here. So I can turn off these markup indicators and have them off. So it's a good way if you just want to send a quick sketch to get that 3D PDF. It always is a great way to show that visualization because people who aren't used to reading drawings or whatever, everyone can understand a 3D drawing. You can see that there's 3 kettles on a rack and 2 are lower than the other. So it explains a lot more than you would get in a 2D drawing. Again, if I did want to see those markup indicators, I can put them on. And these will be saved in that PDF. So everyone can put comments and have them directed. If I go back here to my model tree, I can change that to markups as well. And I'll see that I've got those 2 markups in here. So I can jump to that cloud one straight through here and it'll take me to the comment. I've also got all the properties in here, so I can change the color of the text, the color of the lines, the style of the cloud if I wanted to, etc. Change my colors, put a bit of a fill in there if I wanted to, etc. So just to show that, if I go to put a hatch through there, so I can put like my 10% dots, and you can see how that's reflected on the item. So through here, these are just normal markups. So people can put labels on them. I can put all these on a layer if I wanted to. So to put those on a layer, it's a matter of going to layer and create a new layer. And I can call that markups and have my name on it so that I get those on that. And then I can turn those layers off as well. So it becomes like a layer, which is also through your layers here. So I can turn them on or off. Very much like AutoCAD layers. So now what I'm going to do is start to touch on some dashboards. So I've prepared a dashboard before, so I've got one. So if I go through, there's a few ways again to open our files. I can go through File, Open, Recent, or I can use my File Access tab. So if I use that, I can then go to like my manufacturing dashboard, which I have prepared. So this is a dashboard that I have created. So this is for this kettle skid. So the thing about dashboards is they're very easy for people to, they're visually basic and not intimidating to people who aren't used to dealing with drawing specifications and the like. So it's quite a good thing to have to people who are sort of a bit novice with dealing with user manuals, how to get to training and stuff like that. You can have it all spelt out through here. What I have done is I have created this through a PowerPoint. So you can see in here, I have some that I've played around with, whatever. So you can set up different dashboards for a lot of different things. So you can do that straight in PowerPoint. Again, this isn't a PowerPoint demonstration, but I can go in here, grab an icon, find one that I want for a particular use. So home's one you use a lot, or you can have it like to attachments and insert that. Then place that how you want, change the fill color. Obviously I've gone for the white look. And then I can simply grab that out. So this is just how to do one quickly, just in PowerPoint. I can have that in as PowerPoint. And then what I can do is export that. So I can file and just save that as, a image file. And with the image, I can then bring that straight back into another dashboard. So if we go here in this, if I go to the thumbnails, I do only have one. So what I can do is insert a blank page and just put that in as a bit of a custom. I do like to use the A3 and have that at landscape. And then to bring that in, I simply go to my images again and go through to my dashboard. So I've got a few in there and I can just bring that slide on of that image. And then stretch that to suit. So I've got the image on, I can grab the corners and stretch that out. I can also crop the page as well. So I've got this basic one in here. You can see I did have the one in there from before. So I've put an image in. Now what I can do is go to my document and I can go to page setup. And with this, I can fit the page. So I can crop the page. and crop that to suit. I can see that that's cropped that one. And also cropped my other one. So, yep, which I don't want to apply to that. So I've got the one here, and what you can see on this is that I do have some hyperlinks there already. So I've got one, and I've set this up to go to operating instructions. So what I do need to do is I've set this up as a project in my studio. So just to explain a bit about studio projects. So with every person in Review has access to Bluebeam Studio. So it's included with every seat of Bluebeam Studio. So it's a cloud collaboration platform that connects project partners in real time on the same set of documents. So the entire project team, even those that don't own Bluebeam licenses, can join through studio sessions or studio projects. And they have full markup capabilities and collaboration. So a studio session is a real-time collaboration platform. So that allows multiple users to mark up on the same document at the same time. Instead of like sending documents through emails and send them back and forth, everyone has that cloud access to a studio session and can work on the same drawing in a live situation. We're more looking today at a studio project. So studio project is a document management system. So through that, I can upload folders and files to the cloud storage. The whole project team and people that you invite can check out, access and edit those documents. A master set of the documents can be maintained that you can lock down as well. With the attendees, so the number of attendees that you can have in a project, there are no limits. You can have as many attendees as you want. The number of files that can be uploaded is unlimited as well. It supports any file format. So you can have video files up there. You can have DWG files, 3D models that we just created. You can have any file format up there. There is no limit on the size of those files. You can have as many markups on there as you want, and you can use as much space on the cloud as you want to. So this is all free through your Bluebeam Review seat. You get sessions access and project access. You can manage the attendees. So you can manage the rights of people through those dashboards to certain projects. So you can lock it down and restrict access, or you can have free access to everyone. You can put read-only access as well. You can receive notifications about the files. So whoever actually set up the project, you can put in like that. You'll have notifications if more people put documents up there. You can, through the sessions, you can send and receive markups alerts. You can't do that in projects. So projects is more of a document management system. So through here, if I do go to use my studio in here, it will ask me to sign in. I am using the American server. So when I sign in, it will ask me for my password here. So I've got my address. And I'll keep me signed in. And now we can see that it's given me access to the project. So this shows I'm connected. I can disconnect if I do choose to work offline. And then when I go back, it will send the documents up that I've worked on, etc. So what I have set is I've set up a manufacturing project through here. So if I select on that, it will take a little bit to open up. And now that it's opened up, I can see that I've got all the different files in here. So through here, I've created new folders. I can change, like I said, about the settings of this. So I can go in here under the project settings. And this brings up my permissions and access, etc. So the project size, I can see it's only 13.5 meg. I've got 14 files, 9 folders created this morning. User access, I've got that on restricted users. So that means to actually give people access, I do need to invite them. So by using the plus in here, I can put someone's email address in and then change their permissions accordingly. I can also have that on unrestricted use, which allows anyone with this code to jump in. So I will restrict it though. I can set up groups. So I can set up groups of, I don't have any users in there, so it's a bit difficult to do it. But I can set up groups where I can have maybe like the subcontractors that could only read the information, and more the people, the designers would be able to edit the information. Again, those permissions are through here as well. So you've got where they can send invitations, manage their access, revoke checkout of drawings, so they can, to stop people checking them out, and or you can give full control. With the folders, you can do that as well. So you can change it for different folders through here. So I've got all that inherited from the main project. So through here, I've set up a whole bunch of new folders. So it's quite simple in here to just add a new folder. So I can add a new folder or upload files. It is a matter of just dragging and dropping as well. So I'm going to set up a new folder now and set this up as a 3D models. So I'll see that that will put a new folder here of 3D models. And what I can do is just open that. I can go to my desktop now. So I'll just drag that off to the side a bit, minimize that one. And I can find those new PDFs, which is that one there and this one here. So with these 3D models, I can now simply drag and drop them into this project. So now they're actually up on the cloud. You can see the 3D of that one and the 3D of this one here. So, but going back to my dashboard, so if I just, I won't shut that at the moment, I will go back. So I've got my pump and that over here. I do have it split windows, so I might want to just take that synchronize off and bring that across so I can see I've got my dashboard here. So this is where I'm using the split window. So I could join the windows as well if I wanted to, but I'm just going to have that here. And now when I actually click on this operating instructions, this is a hyperlink I have set up before. And what you will see is it opens me straight up to my user manual. So that gives me all my installation. So that's a PDF that I've put on the cloud, and I've hyperlinked that straight through to my dashboard. So it's quite simple through that dashboard to get that information straight through. I've also got one for photos. So I've got a photos folder here that contains just a few different images. I've got, so if I access that through there, and it brings up which of these I want to open on the cloud. And that's just brought up an image there. So this isn't a 3D model, this is just an image of that item. So to set one of these up as well, so what I'm going to do is I will set one up for our, I don't have one for our warranty. So to use a hyperlink, there's a few different ways to do it. If you go under the Tools tab, we have hyperlink the hotkey for that is Shift and H. So if I go to hyperlink here, I can put a hyperlink over this area. And now I can get that to open my warranty. So I'll get it to open and I'll point it to a file. I might just get it to open the folder. So I'll open the folder and I'll point that through to my project. You can see here that I've got a few different ones set up. I've got my SharePoint project and actually my computer, which is my local drive. I'll set that up through the project and okay. And then I'll point that to my warranty folder and select. And now that I've got that hyperlink set up, you can see when you do select on hyperlink, it shows you where your hyperlinks are. So I've now set one up for warranty. If I select on that, straight away it brings up my warranty terms. And I've got my warranty terms for that item, even though it's not a air conditioner. So I can do the same for specs, OH&S, and the 3D models. So again, I will just do one again for the specifications. So I'm just going to use the hotkey of Shift and H. I can see where my hyperlinks are. So I can do a hyperlink on that area there. And again, I'm going to open, and this time I'll point it to an actual file, which is again on my project. And that will be under my specifications. And I can point it to our specification there and okay. And now I've also linked that one on. So that's the specification there. So it's a good way to create like that, almost like a handover package. So if you've got a whole system, you can set that up, you can host it on the cloud, you can let that go to anyone who's going to use those items. So it's quite a good way to do it. I do have some drawings in here as well. So if I've put drawings up, so again, it's only a matter of creating a folder for drawings. So I've got one in here for plans, and I've got in here my drawing files and models. So I've got the actual Inventor model of the item there hosted on the cloud. And I've actually got my PDF items here and my assembly drawings. So these assembly drawings, if I open them, so from here I can grab that, and I won't open that in a split mode. I will just have that as the own one there. And that's given me my sort of shop drawing of those columns. So I can see if I go to my thumbnails, I do have like sort of a fair few drawings of these. So again, I do need to calibrate. So if I go to do measurements, this does have a lot of measurements on it, obviously, but if I need to calibrate, it's a good idea to always calibrate with a dimension, because you do not know that they've actually printed this out at the correct scale on this drawing. So you always look for the biggest dimension you can find, and make sure that you've got down here your snap to content. So that's quite important, and you can see that it will snap to those endpoints. So I can grab that endpoint there, grab the other endpoint at the top here, knowing that that's 2.74 meters, which is 2740 millimeters, and apply that scale. And now any markup dimension that I do, I know that that'll be correct. So I'll just do one sort of halfway in that 1200. And you can see it's given me that 5480. I think when I did the calibration, yes, it's thrown in the extra 3 zeros. because it does remember that I set it from millimeters. So again, now when I do a dimension, it will be about 558. So when you select that as well, you can change the units through here as well. You can change the precision, so I can round that up as well. So if you select that dimension, you've got that precision here. So you can make sure that's rounded to the nearest millimeter. And again, you can change the position of the text by holding Shift down and change that dimension. So through there, I will show quickly how to get a drawing out of our thing as well. So I've created a drawing there of our assembly. So now what I'll do is I will print that off. So if I go to just print, and what you do want to do is make sure that you use the Bluebeam PDF writer. So if I use that, I'm just going to print the current sheet. I'm going to put it at best fit. Again, you don't really need to worry too much about setting this up to be a proper A1, whatever. You do have the properties in through here. If I just go OK and produce that drawing, it'll give me the save option. So I will save that again just to my desktop. And that's saved the file. Now we can see it's rotated that. If I go to my thumbnails, I can rotate that sheet around. So if you right click on the item, I can rotate my pages. Make sure I rotate that 180 degrees and OK. I can also crop this page as we saw before. So if I go to document and crop pages and get my window, I can crop that to be a better fit. And OK. So I've got that in there now. We can see that the units on this, it's actually in feet and inches. And as soon as I go to do a dimension, it is going to ask me to calibrate. So if I go to just the dimension tab here to get a length, and it's asking me straight away to calibrate. So I want to calibrate using a known dimension. So if I select that, I'll select the 7-foot dimension here. Again, making sure that I'm snapping to content. Grab these two items across here. And 7 foot is about 2135 millimeters. And remember to take off my zeros and apply that scale. And now I can see that that will update to the correct size. To add drawings in, so if I had my other assembly drawings, so I'll shut my studio project and I'll save my assembly drawings and I'll check them all in. So checking them in is basically I downloaded them so I could maybe amend them if I chose to, and now I've just uploaded them back into that main document storage. So I've got the other two drawings here as well. So if I use my little stretch across there, I've got my pump 3D and I've also got my brewing one. I will close my dashboard and I will just save that. And what I can do is combine these files. So if I go now to File and Combine, I can add open files. So that's going to add the open files to this PDF. And if I hit OK, they're now in this one package. So in this one package, so now I've got this document one. So I'll just save that to my, project. And I'll put this under my plans and I'll save this as complete. And it's uploading that now onto my studio project. And now I can see that what I've done, just close them, I won't save those two files. And what I've done now is actually got these. So if I use this drop down as well, I can add the size up, and I've got, they're 3Ds, so they don't really have a scale as such, the 3Ds. So, but they're all now part of this package. So I've got my main assembly drawing, which I can use this to go onto one full page. And then going down through the other pages, I've then got the 3D of the whole assembly and then the 3D of that pump. And they are all combined in that one document, which is hosted on the cloud. So that's about all that I had to go through today. If anyone's, I will check the chat if anyone's got any quick questions they want to ask. So I think someone was saying that the rotation is a bit jumpy, but I think I might have been just a bit gun happy with the items. I will let Simon's our Bluebeam lead, so I will let him take some if you want. Simon, you should be.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Obviously, just wanted to say thanks to everyone for jumping on the webinar today. I guess if you've got any questions or would like us to deep dive individually with you guys, please, by all means, reach out to your representatives from A2K. If not, reach out to Ben. He can get hold of each of us. There's obviously a lot to Bluebeam. There's trying to fit it into a webinar is pretty hard. So yeah, I think best thing moving forward would be for you to jump on and get in touch with us to talk further. Thank you.
Yeah. So thanks a lot. It is like someone says, it's always a bit funny with the presentations, because you're trying to show as much as you can show, but without trying to overwhelm people. So hopefully the dashboard that you did see was reasonably underwhelmed, and you can see through there. But you can put all these in through dashboards, which just makes that access very good for especially for novice people who aren't used to dealing with drawings and that. And you can have all the specs, all the warranties. Like if you have an item that you're going to push out, like this kettle skid, you can have it all in one package, send it all out, and everyone's got contacts. You can have price lists in there. You can have all the user manuals, all the warranties and all that in one package. So it's a good way. So please reach out if you've got any questions or want more information. I'll just go back to this. So we did do so just going back, we've done the demonstration. So we do provide a lot of other items. So we do discovery workshops, we do rapid starts, we do office standardization. So we can come into your company and help everyone get on the same page with all the standardization, standard markups, standard quantity takeoffs, etc., and maximize your PDF productivity. And we do Bluebeam training manuals. So just to finish off, I've gone through any questions anyone had, and so thanks for attending everyone, and hope we do have a few other webinars and that coming up. We do have also, we will put these up on the website and that when we're finished it. It might take a week or so to get up, so you can go back through it if you choose to. Thank you all, and I'll end the session now. Thanks a lot for your time.